Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to your weekly recap. My name is Stephen Kernick, and yes, I've got a voice. And joining me, who's got the biggest voice of them all and the biggest heart, Janneman Pruis. Janneman, we're going to have some fun this week and explaining all the carnage that happened last week. They had both of us sitting on our backsides going, what on earth did we just see?
Good evening, Stephen. Yes, it was an interesting week of racing, to say the least. But that is said and done. The results are out. Looking forward to a new week of racing, and it's going to be a busy one.
That's it. So let's actually take a look at our first ever entry, and you heard that right, our first entry of the Grid Championship Gold Division, and a big shout out to the Gold Division actually sending in the replay to be included. And taking a look at it, keep note of the names though. Third place going to Mr. Cilliers in the ZRC, and you can see using that Zodak Samurai livery, going and utilizing the Ferrari to power his way into third place, and was closely taking the race up to second place. Second place going to W. Buertha. Vietia Buertha putting himself into second place also had a substantial charge and getting the undercut in the championship on the Grid Championship, brought to you by Middle State Raceface and powered by MTN. But you can even see on screen how close they were keeping to one another. Ultimately, first place trophy going to this man over here. And now I'm going to pass it to you, Alan, because you you corrected me a few times on this.
Yeah, first place going to K Stoltz, and awesome drive by him. And Stephen, awesome to see the Gold Division results as well. And some of these names very familiar to our viewers because they actually features in other forms of championships that we race in. And you know, these classes are so close together in pace. No means to say that these guys are substantially slower than what our Pro-Am and Pro drivers are.
No, they are properly quick cars, and it's good to see it finally getting featured. And this is a class that doesn't get live streamed or doesn't get mentioned too often, and is our Am class. Moving that on though, let's take a look at our Pro-Am, where third place was the Team Kerigma Racing, Jay Buertha, going and putting the power down. He was able to get that Porsche a little bit closer towards the front, and yet again scoring another podium, and I'm sure going to be quite happy with that one. Keeping the consistency up at this point and keeping the momentum up for the team. Second place after joining up with a new team, going to Hybrid Academy, goes to T. Buertha, who had a fantastic drive out there for our Pro-Am, and they're hoping to keep up the momentum. T. Buertha, though, and Tianis has been also throwing a few jabs, saying that he's coming for the Pro Division, just they wait. And I think getting second place so far a couple of times in a row is really starting to show his colors, but ultimately wasn't quicker than our first place man,
Mr. Van der Rijst. Yeah, awesome race by him as well. And Stephen, I think these are drivers that we're going to see in the Pro Division very soon. The Grid Championship, how it works, if you get a top 3 in the Pro-Am Championship, meaning first, second, and third, you automatically get moved to the Pro Division. So all to race for in this Pro-Am division to get into that Pro class next season.
and that's it. Let's also now move on to the class that everyone wants to be, and let's move into our Grid Championship Pro Division. And like a pro, third place, keeping the consistency up, goes to Morgan McCall, finally starting to break that streak a little bit. The sprint series was a bit of a heartache, dropping not only from first place to 10th, but was able to make it up on the Thursday, putting himself in the third place spot, but not without a fight, having majority of the race going side by side and only finishing up in third place by a second above first, which tells you how fast this field is when they're fueled by MTN. And this Grid Championship developed by Raceface and Middle State, it's just absolutely incredible. Second place though is a bit of a lockout, going to Tariq Adam, who's not quite used to the silver trophy, but is going to be walking home with one this time around, going and having a bit of a fight. Also a few loose ends on his car, made him slip and slide around the circuit, was able to maintain that second place, but was also breaking a bit of a sweat in the process, trying to not only put the pressure on the cars ahead, but also to keep the cars behind.
Absolutely. And first place, for a change, Christian Deploy. Now, apparently Christian is extremely quick around Mazzano, and word has it Tariq just did not have an answer for him at the time.
Both in the same machinery, both under the same umbrella, but ultimately Christian Deploy able to go and stretch it out and also help his championship hopes at the moment as he's working on the climb to get into the podium positions and chase down his fellow teammates, currently locking first, second and third. So he's hoping just to go and join in that championship battle and move their way up. But coming up next week, Thursday, finally, we're coming back home to Kyle Army. We're going to be having a bit of fun. We've had a bit of a break from it, but after everything that's gone on, how well we're doing in the World Cup, it's only fitting to come back to the world of the gold, the green, the red, the blue, the land of the gold. Come back to Igoli. Welcome back to Kyle Army.
Yes. I think this is most, if not all, drivers' favorite track. And this Thursday, coming to you live from Kyle Army in Afrikaans.
Yeah, no, you're not going to... Good try.
I had to.
The Grid Championship brought to you by Metal State and Raceface, powered by MTN, brings it back home to Kyle Army, and we're really looking forward to that this Thursday, round 5, 7th of September. Do not miss it. That being said, though, let's take a look at the Wednesday, which is our Raceface GT3 Sprint Series, and let's start off with our Pro-Am.
Now, this is the one that had our scratching our heads a little bit between this and the Grid Championship.
Yes, won't lie, because third place was W. Bertha. Vietia Bertha able to get himself a little bit more of a charge, was on a bit of a climb as well, and obviously learning from some mistakes that were had from the Wednesday, which was what we take in look here, where he scored a bronze trophy, getting that third place, not able to catch up to Mr. Silias, who got second place, and they eventually change the roles around, figuring out each other's pit stops, but ultimately second place for the GT3 Sprint Series, especially now that we're getting closer towards the end, goes to Silias, who's hoping to go and keep up the pressure in the championship and go for the GT3 Sprint Series Pro-Am Championship at this point. Getting yourself a silver is not bad. Second place, not bad at all, but your competition's starting to try and work out when you're pitting and when you're not. That's where it gets a little bit more rough. First place, though, also going to a person that managed to walk away with 2 gold trophies, coming in first place, not only on the Wednesday, but also on the Thursday, goes to Stoltz, who's had a fantastic drive out there. Good to see some new names heading out to the top of the field, but also good to see the drivers pushing themselves a little bit more. We're getting that consistency coming in. And guys, carrying over a lot of practice from the Wednesday to the Thursday, but the Sprint Series still heating up, the competition extremely close, and the championship points only separated from first to third place is only separated by 12 points at the moment, which is it can get you a bit hot underneath the collar, that's for certain.
I mean, absolutely. And Stephen, it's awesome to see how this Wednesday series has grown over the past couple of years. I mean, me and you competed, I think, in season 1 and season 2 of the Sprint Series, and in those days it was seen as a fun event practice for the Thursday series.
And was a multi-class at one point as well, which I raced a GT4 KTM crossbow, and no one will take my lawnmower away from me. Moving on to that, let's take a look at our Pro Division, which did step out the pace and also left our jaws on the ground. Third place going to Sanjan Pillay. Ultimately had the race in his hand, but when it came down to the end, unfortunately a late pit stop cost him a bit of time and he dropped into that third place. But still, getting a third place is not bad, especially how competitive the field was and how much it changed. We had 6 disconnects, we had guys dropping off the circuit, we had accidents, and ultimately we had a field that was very, very different to what we've seen every single year and every single race. So Sanjan Pillay coming off, you're going and rolling the dice, gets his third place, and I'm going to be quite happy with that for his points for the GT3 Sprint Series brought to you by Raceface. Second place though, representing the green and gold and actually wearing the green and gold, not wearing the turquoise, goes to Alan Patterson in the tribute livery to the Springboks, and, well, second place to go and represent, and getting to see the Springboks go and take the win, I'm sure is going to be a rather fitting time for his week.
I mean, absolutely, and I do agree with you. The green and gold does look better than the white and the turquoise. But Stephen, this race had everything. We literally at one stage, didn't know where to look, didn't know what to comment on. I mean, Morgan McCall had the race in his bag, but short fueled by 1 liter, was it? And had to pit again, and unfortunately dropped out of the top 3 positions.
And it left it all shook up. But ultimately, the person that managed to pull it off in first place, taking his first ever Pro GT3 Sprint Series win, goes to Johan van der Merwe, and well done to him. He was extremely ecstatic, much like when we had an interview with him and with Alan Patterson, both of them extremely ecstatic on their positions. But Johan van der Merwe was so surprised at coming in first place that he had to recheck the results to make sure that it was correct, because he just couldn't quite believe it. But did have a lot of pressure on behind. He wasn't able to run away. He still had to work for it for the full 55 minutes. And at one point, it wasn't looking so great for the old Johan van der Merwe, especially with some light taps on the rear. Did go and make him hurt his rear tyres a lot more than he expected.
Yeah, but bringing it home in first place, and his first ever win in the Pro division of the Sprint Series. And they are moving on to round 7, also returning home to Kyalami. And I tried doing the Afrikaans thing, but Stephen is not falling for that one. But, Stephen, you gotta love this circuit. We've been around it. It's awesome fun to go around, not only in a sim, but in real life as well.
Yep, we head over to Kyalami Wednesday on the 13th of September. Do not miss out on it. It's going to be a bit of an interesting one, and the drivers are looking forward to going and stepping it up just a little bit more. Round 7, though, second last round of the season in this 8-round championship, and Kyalami being the second last to the end is going to be an interesting one, especially for the drivers to maneuver their way around Cheetah. I think it's going to be a very hard push. The championship all shook up in both the Pro-Am and in the Pro division for our GT3 Sprint Series Season 10. I don't think we can go and crown any champions at the moment because, well, our defending champion, Ryan Ottens, is not too far away from the rest of the field and might lose out the crown as well. So he's going to be putting a bit of legwork in to ensure that he's at round 7 this coming Wednesday. So don't miss out on it, ladies and gentlemen. It is one to keep an eye out for. Now, let's move on to our iRacing, which has also gained a bit of speed, and especially with how things have been going. So, moving on to our iRacing F4s, brought to you by Ardendorf Machinery Mart, and everyone vying for that amazing prize from Ardendorf Machinery Mart. Good to see the sponsor jumping on for the first ever season, taking on the difficult role. Third place going to Johan Krobler, who's also, happy birthday, Johan. That was also today. So Bego Krobler in the Rothmans colours, celebrating his birthday, and last week celebrated a third place after a very difficult race around the circuit, and ultimately had to work incredibly hard in heat number 1. Heat 2 was Johan Fourie, our defending TCR champion, who managed to get the leg up on the competition, hoping to keep into the slipstreams. Had a bit of an easier run where he was tailgating the whole way through. Did have a few hiccups with back markers trying to get past him fast enough and not to lose out too much ground. But for second place in Heat 1, not bad at all. But first place goes to Jason Coetzee, and before he went and headed out all the way to Kalani to do a bit of racing, he scored himself a goal, get a first place over at Raceface F4, the Season 1, powered by the Ardendorf Machinery Mart, and not a bad way to start off your weekend. The RDSA driver really had to step it up this time around and get a little bit closer to the fight, and maintaining that first place in Heat 1 and hoping to carry the momentum through. But Heat 2 was a little bit different, where drivers pushed a bit too hard, and we saw the grid switch up, and some drivers that didn't make it for Heat 1 came in for Heat 2.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. There's sometimes these two heats, some stuff like load shedding, those kind of things does play a role. But in third place in Heat 2, Luke Lucchesi bringing it home. And interesting to see, Stephen, how different Heat 2 was to Heat 1.
Yeah, no, definitely a bit of a change up there. Luke Lucchesi getting behind the wheel and hoping to get a little bit more of a chase. He was able to get a little bit more grunt and close down the distance to the rest of the drivers. A big thank you to Luke for also submitting the replay. Big shout out to him for sending it through, especially after the update, which is always great. Second place, though, ultimately Luke couldn't catch up to Jason Coetzee, who managed to swap out the gold for the silver, but had to put up a huge fight. Tried tailing onto our first place, had to battle it out with Luke right till the end. Both of them going wheel to wheel with one another, and it was one of the closest actions that we've seen on the circuit, other than a little bit further down where we saw 5th and 6th that were having a good go at one another. But first place ultimately goes to a very, very dominant driver, Troy Dolenchek, who got behind the wheel, jumped into Heat 2, scored himself a first place, and is smiling all his way to the bank. Also, wrapping up his Formula 1600 championship this past weekend. So, well done, Troy, for getting your Formula 1600 national championship this weekend at Kalani, but also well done on the first place in the F4s, especially after missing out Heat 1 and not having too much of an easy run come Heat 2.
Yeah, I mean, congratulations on that championship for Troy in the Formula 1600. And as you said, Stephen couldn't make the first heat, so he jumped in to Heat 2 and definitely didn't look like he lost any pace or was at a disadvantage as he brought it home in first place.
Got to slide it around, got to make it work, and a bit more body
I think it's that Formula 1600 that he's driving that's giving him the edge here.
Well, Jason's also in one, so keep an eye on that. We may see a battle between the two starting to form. But the Ardendorf Machinery Mart really showing off what they can do for Season 1 of the Raceface F4s, which is absolutely tremendous to see how this has grown stronger and stronger every single race. And despite the guys going and having some difficult times, they still pitch up to the races, still have a ton of fun, slide themselves around, and also keeping things fair from start to back without any pushing off the circuit. They've been rather nice about it. So well done, guys. Not pushing each other off the track, especially in open seater. Not a good idea. Ultimately, though, we're heading into the final race for Season 1, 19th of September at Okayama. And it's going to be a proper doozy of a battle. The guys closing up that championship. And for Season 1, everyone wants to hold the crown for the very first time, because you can only be a Season 1 champion once in the entire history.
That's deep words, Stephen. Really deep words. But Okayama, it's one of my favorite tracks, especially that last sector. And I think in these F4 cars, it's going to be tremendous amounts of fun. I mean, that tight and twisty last sector, the final two corners in these cars, I think we're in for a good race.
We're in for a treat. And now, to talk about open wheels, why don't we just carry on further? Let's move on to our Raceface F1 2023 league, which has also been heating up rather quickly. So, every week has been a new name popping up onto the list, and this time has been a week that's, well, we've seen the name before. Big T getting third place, getting a phenomenal drive out there, able to close down on the field, and putting himself into the podium positions once again, able to hold on to that trophy. And it must feel fantastic, especially for a series that's pretty much been like a phoenix, rising from the ashes. Was originally dead as a duck, but now coming back after some time in the F1 2023. The guys are really pushing hard and improving the sim to go and get the racing quicker, faster, better, everyone more enjoyable, and also the crowds a little bit louder. Second place going to Brandon Kruger. Azure going and having a great run out there, but not able to go for that first place. He's been on a dominant streak, but it's also been a bit of a yo-yo as he makes his way through the F1 2023. Not been the most eventful race this time round. He got stuck in a bit of a DRS train for quite some time, and unfortunately wasn't able to power out of it, taking second place. First place, though, going to Venom Terror, who has been on a proper little charge and has scored every single trophy this, well, when I say every single trophy, he has taken away a first place, second place, and a third place in the same championship.
Okay.
So how's that? To walk away with all 3 trophies in one season is not a bad
So
thing
he's
at all.
he's got a fairly widespread full cabinet, just not, how can I put this? Not all the same color. He's got a rainbow of colors in the cabinet, so to speak.
A first shelf, a second shelf, and a third shelf. But coming up on the 12th of September, let's see if that will continue heading into round 8 into Qatar, which is something that drivers don't usually get to race around. Personally, I haven't been around the circuit. It's one of these tracks, it's always been infamous of how you can make your way around, what will be better, and how can you get a little bit quicker. The drivers are going to have to think out of the box, think about their strategies, and where are they going to be able to utilize more of their power. Is it going to be down the straights? Is it going to be through the corners? Who's going to be in front of the DRS train before you hit that long dreaded straight at Qatar? Well, only time will tell, especially as we head into the race on the 12th of September for round 8 of the championship for the F1 2023 League, brought to you by Raceface.
Can't wait for it, Steven. I think it's going to be some awesome racing, and very much looking forward to who's going to be on that podium again. Will we see new names again? Will there be different drivers fighting their way to the top? I think we're in for a treat during this week.
It's going to be an incredible one, but let's talk about a series that's having a little bit of difficulty, but drivers are still keeping positive. And that is our Automobilista 2, which has been hit with some of the worst of it. Stage 6 load shedding, especially at the worst times, 8 o'clock to 10 o'clock, which pretty much ends your racing for the evening. The drivers unfortunately had to postpone the last race due to a lot of them unfortunately unable to make it due to force majeure. So on the 16th of September they are due to race at the Temple of Speed at Monza, especially in these F1 cars that have been updated for Automobilista 2. Looking forward to seeing some racing there, and I know that our broadcasters are also waiting for their bit to go live on air and display all the amazing action at Automobilista 2, brought to you by Raceface. Monza, 16th of September. So make sure you're there. Go and keep an eye on it. Registration still open for all the championships that are happening. So it's not to be missed, ladies and gentlemen. There is no reason to be missing out on any of this week's racing here at Raceface. Go and head over to www.raceface.pro. Go and enter any of our leagues, whether you want to go do some iRacing, some Assetto Corsa Competizione, Automobilista 2, Formula 1 2023. We've got it all here at Raceface. And Janneman, that has summed up our last week, and we're moving into the new week with rounds starting to come to a close. Championships are going to be put to a close in the next coming stages, and also new crowns will be handed out to our different drivers. Gotta say, it's getting tense in the pits. Been chatting to a few of the drivers, nerves are starting to kick in, and I won't lie, I'm joining them on that one.
Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Some of our championships are actually finishing off this week, Stephen, if I'm not mistaken. The TCRs. Next week, the F4s are finishing off. Sprint Series, GT3 Sprint Series, it's their penultimate round this week. Final round next week. The Grid Championship still has 3 rounds to go, but not a lot of time left to rack up as many points as possible to move yourself up in the championship.
It's going to be a proper biting of nails for this next coming 2-3 weeks. So ladies and gentlemen, don't miss out on any of the action. Hit subscribe on our channel, hit the bell notification icon. Let us know if you're enjoying the comment. Leave us a comment in the comments. Leave us a bit of a chat. You see, I'm mixing up my words already. Ooh, having too much to drink. But go and let us know.
Too much chocolate milkshake.
Those chocolate milkshakes are starting to bite me. What can I say? But let us know in the comments if you guys are enjoying the content. Let us know if you're liking it. Put a thumbs up or a thumbs down. It also helps with the algorithm, just to go and make sure that we're getting to it. We're on the road to 1,000 subscribers here at Raceface. Make a Christmas wish come true. As I said, it's been a Christmas wish. It's been a Christmas wish for a while now. Please, guys, please share it with everyone. Share it with your dogs. Share it with your cats. Share it with your hamsters. Or that pet gerbil in your neighbor's yard. Share it all. It's got to go everywhere, and everyone's got to hit subscribe. Also, go and follow our social media out on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and also head over to our Discord for plenty of action. Whether you want to talk about real world motorsport, you want to talk about the virtual motorsport, see where you can get stuff, or just go and have a general chat with all our drivers, because we got guys that even know how to do knitting. Surprising. And yeah, we'll see you next time right here on the recap, same time, Monday. Keep an eye out for all the action. From myself, Stephen Kernick, and Janneman Pruis, would like to say thank you very much. Enjoy the evening, and like always, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night, everybody.
Good night, everyone.